Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. So I'm not flying solo today. My co-host is on her way. We are a bit late. We normally start at 5:30. It's 6:15. Life happens, and so we are going to start a little bit late today, but we will start nonetheless. All right. So our show today. Will probably center around a lot of Caucacity Corner because there was a lot of that going on. So much so it consumed our conversations, myself and my co-host Sandra, who will be here shortly. But we will touch upon the Biden administration. To say the least, we're not too happy with how the Biden administration has been handling things. And so they are not above reproach. And we, the people, have the power, have more power than the people in power, right? Because we're the ones that vote them in, and we're the ones that give them the power. So we are also the ones that will hold them accountable. We will be talking about our the Biden administration. We will also be talking about HB 11. And HB 11 is a legislation that is being pushed through by Representative Alex Rizzo out of Hialeah, the Republican. And I want to talk about that. We've mentioned that a couple of times, but it's important that we talk about legislation, especially in Florida, that affects us directly. And this HB 11 would make it a misdemeanor to videotape police officers while they are either arresting someone or in the middle of an investigation. What this does is, as you all know, George Floyd, Eric Garner, countless others that were videotaped during a police interaction. We were able to videotape and see some of these horrific crimes done by police officers. So what Mr. Rizzo is, and I say that with all the disrespect, what Mr. Rizzo has filed, he has passed. He wants to pass a legislation. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, because in January, Florida goes back into their legislative sessions, okay? So this is something that he's trying to bring about in January to get passed. If this passes, it will be effective as of October 2022. That's just around the corner. A year is just around the corner. Before you know it, will be in October 22, okay? It will make it where it becomes a second-degree misdemeanor charge, $500 fine, or 60 days in jail for anyone. And this is considered a hindering law enforcement as they carry out their duties, which includes taking cell phone videos. They're wanting to get you to be 30 feet away before you can videotape, or 30 feet away where you can videotape. We all know that, maybe they're making the phones better now where you can still videotape from 30 feet away, but 30 feet away, you can't really see anything. But I don't agree with you being right up on the police officer either. I think that, about 5 feet away is a good enough space to kind of videotape and get that information and see what's happening. I realize when you see these videos out there, it really forces the police officer to do the job correctly. And so now they're trying to hinder that in the state of Florida. So we want everyone who watches our show, please like, share, and subscribe, to make sure you reach out to your local elected officials, those who represent you up in Tallahassee, and let them know that this bill that Mr. Representative Alex Rizzo is trying to bring to the floor, that they, you have a voice there, and you let them know that this is unacceptable, that you will not, they shouldn't agree to it. They should really look at the bill, make sure they take out anything that is a hindrance to us. As you know, videotaping is our way of expressing, because when they talk to Black people, they don't take what we say. It has to be on videotape. So this is a very serious issue, and we always promote that you speak to your representative. Let me tell you something. They work for us, right? And if they're going to be doing bills like that, they're being insubordinate. Therefore, they need to lose their job. Don't vote them back in. So whatever district you're in, just because he's in Hialeah and Miami doesn't mean it doesn't affect you, because this is for the entire state of Florida. Make it a priority to reach out to your representative and let them know HB 11 at no time whatsoever is that allowed. So hop on that, talk to your representatives. I've already put in some emails and a call to mine. I suggest you do the same, because before you know it, it'll be in January and we'll be having this discussion. And I don't want people saying, oh my goodness, I didn't know. We've been drilling this into you, letting you all know that this HB 11 is coming. As you can see, they had their anti-protest bill and their anti-voting bill, and they got to be able to pass those. Excuse me, my bra strap is showing. Sorry. it's annoying me because I can see it. So they had those bills come in, and then they're thinking about introducing that abortion bill that Texas just passed. So I'm just telling you guys, we got to jump on that and make sure that we're on top of things that directly affect us. Okay. So we're going to talk about, I mentioned that, and I hope co-hosts will mention it again, but our segment will be comprised of the President Biden and VP Harris's effects thus far. Not too happy with them. We have a few things on Caucacity Corner, and we still have an election coming up November 2nd. We have a special election for District 20 race. As you know, we've had all the candidates on except for Senator Thurston. We did reach out to him and his people. I spoke to a secretary, said that she would get the information to him. Haven't heard back, so we didn't get to speak to him. But we did get to speak to all the Democratic candidates. We spoke to the Libertarian candidate that's running. We did send out requests to the Republican candidates, and we did get one back who asked to call to speak to us. We gave them the number. They didn't call. So alas, here we are. So we only got to speak to those. If you want to go back to our channel, review those videos. We did have some heated exchanges with a couple of them. There was something going on between some of the candidates that we had them come on air to clear the air. You can see those two, which is good because you want to see them in their element. You want to see them in a light where you can kind of resonate with them or not resonate with them, or however you feel, so you can make an informed decision. So I urge you all to check that out on our pages, both our Facebook page and our YouTube page. So it seems like it's heating up. There's these polls that the candidates talk about, how they're polling high or they're polling low, or I haven't seen these polls. I don't know where they're getting them polls from, but if any of you know any of the polls and where we can go look at the polls, please forward that information to us and drop it in the chat or drop it on any of our pages and send us messages, because I'm not aware of any polls. I don't know who's leading. I don't know who's the top three or who the bottom three are. I have no idea. All I do know is that there's a ton of people running for that seat, and that's good or bad. I'm not sure. Hey, co-host, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good.
I'm good. Sorry, y'all.
No worries. We know life happens and things got to get done, sis. It is what it is.
I had some deadlines. I've been dealing with deadlines for the last couple of weeks.
Girl, you got to do what you got to do, girl.
I got to do what I got to do.
I know, man.
I moved today, too.
Okay.
So, yeah, I
reminded everybody about our HB 11 foolery. So
I heard.
So we're going to continue drilling people about that. Okay.
Yep.
Talked a little bit about the District 20.
What did Jamaicans say? Prevention is better than cure.
Prevention is better than cure. And trust me, people, y'all not gonna want this HB11, honey, because we need these videotapes. Okay, we need the videotapes. And you know, the police officers don't be turning on their thing unless you tell them. You know what's annoying me? My bra strap keeps showing, and I'm just like, it just bothers me. I'm sorry, y'all. I have my shirt on, my reclaiming my time.
That's right. I'm channeling sis right now.
I'm channeling Auntie Maxine up in here. Okay. So reclaiming my time. All right, so let's go straight into this Haitian-Texas border thing.
That's what we talking about first, because you had said something about Florida's trying to mimic Texas's bill.
Yeah, I mentioned all of that.
I think the word on the street is that they're trying to do the one that's like the one in Mississippi, which it's not 6 weeks. It's like
15 weeks.
Yeah, something like 15 weeks. It's different. It's not the Texas one. It's the Mississippi one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All of it is wrong.
They need to mind their business.
All of it is wrong. And mind you, you know, I am not someone who is pro-choice or pro-life. That is not my thing. I feel like people make their own decisions in their own home for themselves. I don't think it's none of my business to be impression upon you about how I feel and what I like. That is not my position. But what I don't like is the fact that these bills, even if you've been raped, even if you've this incest, they don't even consider it. That's my issue. Because there's some trauma that women go through. First of all, when a woman makes a decision to have an abortion, that's not an easy decision either. Okay. Women make these decisions. This is not an easy decision. Forget what you see on TV or what you heard. It is not an easy decision for a woman to make. All right. So let me just make that clear. But not only is not only a very difficult decision for us to make, but also now you're making a law on an already difficult decision, and I don't have a choice at all in the matter. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I can't be bothered. I just can't be bothered. So the co-host and I have been talking about the Biden and Harris administration. We're both extremely disappointed with their behavior as of late, right? President Biden and VP Harris has not made, in our opinion, that's what we talked about, a significant statement, nor have they implemented any remedy to be sufficient for us to trust them. I lost all trust. I really did. Haitians were deported illegally, and the treatment seen across the nation should be a reminder to all Black people that neither party has our best interests in the forefront. I'm just being honest. While my ideology is a Democrat, I don't think that the Democratic Party is doing enough for Black people as a whole. So I just think that I'm just extremely disappointed. And I mean, I don't know co-hosts. I don't even know if I feel comfortable looking towards 2024 with them. I really feel like there needs to be another candidate.
Yep, they need to primary her.
I'm just saying.
Me too.
I'm just saying. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah. Unless they do some stuff that's real different. Yeah. So far, not so good.
Somebody made a comment. It says, "Hi, ladies, is Mr. Neptune. Hi, ladies.
How you doing?
How you doing, Mr. Neptune? If you believe people should make their own decisions about abortion, would you support people making their own decisions not to wear a mask or be vaccinated?" Now, abortion has nothing to do with public health in terms of other people. Okay, this is for me, and I don't know about co-hosts. Co-host can, Sandra can make her own assessment. But for me, when you're talking about a pandemic, I don't think that that's a good comparison. What I said was, I do not agree with what's in these bills that prevents women from making a very difficult decision anyway, right? So, this rape and incest and all that other stuff, or the health of the mother and all that other stuff. I think the health of the mother is something that they kind of, all agreed on, but not all of it. See, and I said, I think. So for me, I don't think that's the same thing, Mr. Neptune. I don't think being vaxxed for a pandemic and, a pregnancy, those are not, that's like apples to oranges. I don't think that those two make.
So
for me.
And I definitely don't think a mask and a vaccine is the same. So I definitely don't think mask and abortion is the same. I don't, to me, those are different. Those aren't even on the same level, right? So the idea of wearing a mask is just for you not to spread something that's extremely contagious, right? That's all. It's a public health issue. It's not about your morality or anything like that. It is not about like what, where your religious beliefs stand. It's not about when you believe life begins, if it's conception or viability. It's not attacking none of your morals, ethical, anything, right? It's just that we're in the middle of a situation where we have an extremely contagious virus, and the way that you can slow down the spread, not completely stop it, is to wear a mask, right? Even like when folks have colds, when they had the cold or the flu, they told people don't come to work. People used to sneeze in their hand. They're like, nope, don't do that, because you use your hands too much and then you're gonna spread the flu and the cold. So they're like sneezing your elbow. So those are just things to stop people from getting sick. That's what the mask and vaccine is about, right? What telling a person whether to start a family is completely different from telling them about whether or not they should wear a mask. That's just not. I don't see how you can compare the two. You can, and then particularly if a person is a victim of rape, incest, by a father, son, brother, uncle, to tell that person to have this baby is not the same as telling somebody to put a mask on. It's not even on the same level of things, right? Because it's just it's very different, right? To me, if you want to believe that it's not, then you're entitled to that. This is America, but I don't see them as being on the same level of consideration, of thought, consequence, all of that, right? And then even if a person decides that they don't want to have a child because of financial reasons, right? Why are you forcing somebody to have a kid that they can't afford, right? And mind you, these would be the same folks, right? That this woman was like, listen, I don't want to have this kid because I can't afford it. And then she goes and have the kid, and then they talking bad about her, about like how she irresponsible, can't have the kid, can't afford. Don't come ask us.
Can't take care of baby on welfare. All these welfare queens and
right. They want to force you to have kids, but then they don't want to follow it all the way through. Like, you gonna make me have this kid, then help me support them. I told y'all I couldn't afford it, and you forced me to have it. So like, keep that same energy up and help me pay for this.
He said, I just want to allow people to make their own decisions.
Okay. That's what you call about being contagious, having people having contagions, is making your own decisions when you're dealing with a public health issue, make their decisions about wearing a mask. Okay. If you want to think it's that simple.
Yeah.
So a person can decide to not wear a mask and like wipe out like 200 people in a room, but that's okay because they have a choice to not wear a mask. Okay. I don't understand that. A woman deciding to have a baby, not doing that. So to have a baby or not have a baby, her decision, which it should be her decision, don't have the same kind of consequence.
It doesn't. Okay. And her decision is her decision. It doesn't affect her. It doesn't affect us. But it will affect her and her partner and
her body and her all that.
But wearing a mask affects us all. So
choosing not to wear one affects us all.
Agreed. So Mr. Neptune,
I probably can't. I'll walk out the room. I'll walk out the room if you don't want to wear no mask, but I probably can't get out of there fast enough. I'm gonna end up getting COVID because you just decide to roll up in there.
I don't think those are the same things, sir.
Not at all. Not to me.
Not to me either. So they're not the same. But love the question though.
We can't allow. People make their own decisions. Are we letting them make decisions about everything now? That's not even how the world works. But okay.
Well, not my world.
Nobody's world. You get to make your own decision about everything. That'd be chaos. Why they got rules and laws and stuff then?
Right.
If we could just do it how we want, when we want. You know?
Hey.
Why you gotta tell me what time to come to work? I want to come at 10.
Okay.
What's up with this 9 to 5 stuff?
Right. And why do I have to send my kids? Why do I have to send my kids to school? Why can't they just, learn off YouTube?
Yeah, learn from the earth.
Yeah, right? Why can't they do that?
Why you gonna be coming to my house talking about truancy and trying to put me in jail?
That's what I'm saying. Why do I have to put my baby in a car seat? Why can't I just hold him in my lap?
Let me ride out with him. You know what I mean? Why you making me do that?
That's what I'm saying. Why can my decision, I would like to make a decision to carry and hold my baby in my lap so I can breastfeed. I don't want to pull the car over, take it out the car seat, put it on my lap, then breastfeed, then put him back, and they got to get back on the road. That's taking too much of my time. I'd rather my baby be on my lap.
Why we got to do all that?
See how that works, Mr. Neptune?
But I'm so old. I remember when cars ain't had no seatbelts. So.
Listen. Hey. Okay.
All right.
So, co-host.
Yes, ma'am.
You are a professor. I'd like to talk to you.
I heard.
Yeah.
That's what they tell me.
In a college.
That's what I heard.
This story is really like I'd like to hear your thought about it. So a white professor at the UCLA. That's the one that you sent me. He is suing UCLA because he was suspended after allegedly not grading Black students more leniently. So
tell that story right. All right. Ask him to do that.
I'm gonna put it in context.
Okay, go ahead, put it in context.
So the professor got an email from a student during.
Identify the race of that student because that's significant.
The student was Black.
It wasn't a Black student.
Oh no, that's right. It was a You're right.
An ally.
It was an ally.
It was not a Black student.
So that's right. An ally emailed the professor about 8 days after George Floyd was murdered. And the ask was, would you please give the kid, I think he's saying give the Black students either like some kind of, give them a break or kind of don't grade them too harshly or kind of give them, because with what's going on and because they're under a lot of stress, to kind of really take that into consideration as he grades. So his response, and let me just say, as an educator and you're educating students, right? I think there has to be a level of, in my opinion, and you can tell me because, you're a professor, I'm not, but I substitute teach. And I feel like when you're teaching young minds, you have to have a level of compassion and empathy as you respond, right? His response was very flippant. He was like, well, so am I supposed to be lenient to the Asians? And he said something to the effect of, I got to go back and read it because I read it today and I was so upset, but I read quite a few articles today. So I'm jumbling up a little. He responded something to the effect of, am I supposed to make concessions for the Native Americans? Something about Asians. Like he basically was responding to himself. If I got to make a concession for Black people, then I'm gonna have to make concessions for everybody else. And the response that was given, that student was like, oh, so that's what we're doing? So the ally decided, well, you need to resign. You don't need to be here if that's how you're gonna be thinking. Got a petition. I may be ad-libbing, not ad-libbing, but I may be missing some parts, but got a petition with 76,000 signatures. It got to the I guess the higher ups at UCLA, excuse me, to which they said, hey, we're gonna put you on pause for a minute until we get the proper information. To which he came out and was complaining, and then he got a couple of people on his end to come back and say he needs to be reinstated. Long story short, he was reinstated. I'm not sure if the UCLA did put out a statement saying that they are very sensitive to the race and what was going on with George Floyd, because this was like in May of 2020. To me, it's the caucacity of it all that you're going to sue. Go ahead, co-host. Because
my problems start before that. My problems with the whole story starts before the lawsuit. Because he might have an injury. He was harmed, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was harmed by this.
Mm-hmm.
He was harmed by this, so he might have a reason to sue because they did suspend him. It had an impact. So let's talk a little about what he said.
Well, did they suspend him without pay though?
Okay, let's follow this. So, all right,
because I don't think they suspended.
Because I pulled up the article.
Okay.
So George Floyd happened.
Yep.
And then eight days. So the article goes 8 days after Floyd, a black man died in Minneapolis following a May 2020 arrest for which a now former police officer had been convicted of murder. A white student emailed the client asking for a no harm quote final for black students given a racially charged quote unquote unjust murders of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd, according to client. Right. So the problem starts there, right? So nobody asked that white student to do that, right? He probably ain't talked to none of his black friends, if he has any, to find out like what is it that you need, right? He took it upon himself, this white student, to go send this email to the professor. So now black people got to go deal with all the mess, right? So that's the first problem that I have. Ain't nobody asked that student to do that. Right? There's no indication that anybody asked that student to go ask this teacher to go a no harm fountain or whatever. They don't know. We struggle every day with stuff, right? And I'm not saying that George Floyd's incident wasn't like, just like, oh my God, it was like it wasn't in their face, but it was more shocking in the face of everybody that wasn't black. Right? Because that ain't the first time black people saw somebody black die or didn't know somebody died. I mean, we didn't know George Floyd. People probably have like direct relatives that lost their life or had some horrible experience with law enforcement that was traumatic for them, right? So that white student thinking that they know what black students want, need, or whatever was already is that patronizing? I don't know what the word is for that, but that was already problematic because ain't nobody asked you to do all that, right? Mm-hmm. And if you really wanted to do something, then have a conversation with people and ask them what they need instead of you telling them what you think they need, right?
And I'm just gonna interject here. See, allyship don't mean that you just do something and you don't check with the person you're trying to be an ally with. Okay, y'all got to come together.
Just always thinking
you
better.
Can't just always act like you think that that's what we want. You gotta have to have a conversation. Allyship is not just standing by, and you have to have a conversation and say, hey, how's this? Why you think? What's going on? How can I help you? How can I be of service? When you go rogue like that.
Yeah, because the professor said the email was patronizing. I kind of agree with him. Ain't nobody asked that student to do that, but then now you got all black people up in the mix, and then now it looks like this man is suing because black people caused them problems. Ain't nobody black caused that man no problem. Okay. So then the professor goes like, oh, are there any students that may be mixed percentage, such as half black, half Asian? What do you suggest I do with respect to them? A full concession or just half? Also, do you have any idea if any students are from Minneapolis? He wrote back. I assume that they are probably especially devastated as well. I'm thinking that a white student from there might possibly be even more devastated by this, especially because some might think that they're racist, even if they're not, right? So that's how the professor responded. And so now this student who did some stuff ain't nobody black asked him to do, now is all upset and mad at the professor because the professor responded to him with some energy, right? So now the students that he deemed deemed racist by several students. So the professor's response was now deemed racist by several students who then formed a petition of over 20,000 signatures demanding his termination, right? So let me tell you another thing. Ain't no other student would have saw that email but for that same white student who wrote the email that ain't nobody black asked him to write in the first place, made it public.
Maybe somebody black did ask him.
Ask him what? No, nobody black asked him to do that.
I'm being facetious. Go ahead.
Because my black self was teaching while all of that stuff was going on, right? I'm teaching Fourth Amendment stuff while all of that was going on, and you managed to get through the day. Okay? Nobody asked him to do that. And so now he mad because the teacher did that. And so, of course, the students are, once the students see this, they're like, yo, bro, this how you going to respond? Or the professor could have responded in a way that wasn't so like, what the F, I ain't doing nothing special for black people or whatever, and if, he could have handled it differently, but he chose to handle it the way he handled it. And so now the students are like, bro, you really are showing all your colors, right? Like, so how the people, the professor was concerned about white students being perceived as racist just because they're from Minneapolis. That's a stretch. Anybody said that part, but okay, right? So now, but the professor's response is basically like, he don't want to protect black people, ultimately, right? Because that's kind of what it was. Like, because he was, if they half Asian, half black, we'll just give them half, like, even though in the United States, they got that whole one drop rule for real though, but all right. Okay. And so now the students find a petition because there's like, yo, this dude is grading us, right? And so you could tell that he got some implicit bias, some for real bias, some upfront bias, something going on, right? Yeah. So that's why the students are like, bro, we could understand. You could have just said no. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You could have just said no. He didn't need to do all that, but because he did all that, now he's showing us who he is. Right. And so the students were like, bruh, like, school, come on now.
Everybody started looking at you sideways.
This who you want to have as the professor at your school? And he out here, and it's clear he got some biases going on that need to be checked whatsoever. And so people signed a petition, and they wanted him gone.
Well, so, and to UCLA's credit, I think they realized with the response of the professor, they are like, oh snap, because they're gonna think if one of them act like that, then the rest are all like that. We gotta.
I don't think they're gonna think all of that. Everyone's gonna act like that. They gotta deal with the one that acted like that, right?
Right. Yeah. But I'm saying, but it does give the perception that if you have one. That is
not in academics, because I don't think that people would have thought it's others are like that. What people would think is like, okay, UCLA, this one's here. What you gonna do about this one, right? That's what the expectation was, because the petition started off with like 20,000 students signatures. It ended up having 76,000 people sign that petition. That's a lot of folks. You have to pay attention to that. The school has to pay attention to that, right? And so they could have like said, listen, we need to kind of figure out what we need to do with this, deal with this. We're not going to be able to deal with it with you being in class, which I agree, right? In that instance, so bro, we're going to need you to kind of step back. Let us figure out how to do this. He wasn't happy about that part.
I mean, well, do you think
because they told him to take a break. He was able to come back after 3 weeks. They just wanted, the school just wanted an opportunity to handle and manage the situation. To see what they're going to do about that. Mm-hmm. But then now he's like, he suffered great financial loss, severe emotional distress.
Well, the question becomes, was he suspended without pay?
Physical ailments and all that, and all that.
And the article didn't say if he was suspended without pay, though. It didn't say.
It did not say, and I don't think he was. They just said, bro, we need you to step back while we get a handle of this situation.
I don't think they suspended him without pay, so I don't know what financial thing you lost. But okay. Right, they just want to be oppressed so bad.
Well, I mean, okay, but he might have suffered some financial loss because maybe somebody was going to offer him a book deal, and it's like, bro, this how you thinking? People not going to buy your book, so you bad for business. He could have lost some money, but that was on his response because he could have handled that differently too, right? So the school's like, just give us a minute, right? And then so he goes like he's suing because no employee should ever cower in fear of his employer's power to silence legitimate points of view. The employer didn't do nothing. The students did the petition. UCLA didn't do that, but okay. And he said, no society should tolerate government-sponsored autocrats violating constitutional mandates. Child, please. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
It's the perceived oppression for me. But I digress.
Traumatized.
Whatever.
He had emotional distress.
Well, let me ask
you, anybody who saw anybody with this much of a conscience that saw the George Floyd video was traumatized, suffered emotional.
I don't even think
physical ailments. Suffered financial loss because they couldn't go to work or whatever.
I know for a fact that several Black people who saw the video had nervous breakdowns. I can tell you that.
It was triggering.
It was more than triggering, because we identified with him as someone who could have been our uncle, our brother, our cousin. We have people that resemble Mr. Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
So it was triggering for all of us. And for him to be, and that's my thing. I think his response was shrouded in arrogance and almost like, how dare you tell me how am I supposed to deal with?
And he might be right that the boy shouldn't have told him nothing. But then blame that boy, not black people. Ain't nobody black asking him to do that.
Why are you dragging us in there? He made that decision.
You did not get an email from a black student and be like, listen, give me a moment, since George Floyd died. He didn't get that email. He didn't get that from no black
I think there should be like an allyship course, so white people can understand, or those who consider themselves allies, on how you ally. Because y'all be allying all over the damn place, and it'd be like, we ain't asked you to do that.
And don't be acting like I'm ungrateful because you did some stuff that I asked you to do.
Right. And it's not being ungrateful. It's just like y'all just doing things just to be doing things, and then you turn around and say, "See, well, what do you think, ma'am? Did you ask? Did you ask? Did we have a conversation?" And then the other thing I don't like about allies is they always trying to tell you about your history. Like, no.
I had some classmates that I went to school with that know our history more than we do. I mean, they don't understand our experience better than we do, but they, in terms of historical knowledge for academic purposes, they may know more.
Okay.
I'm telling
it doesn't change my mind. I feel like you don't need to be telling me about me. You don't know my experience.
Yeah, that's right. You can't tell me about my experience now.
One thing to tell me something, and it's another thing to tell me as if you know my experience. You don't know my experience. And to me, when you start diminishing me that way, you're not an ally. That's not what you is. I'm just saying. It is what it is. All right. Another Caucacity story.
But you had asked me about the perspective of a professor.
Oh yes. Well, I asked you. What I said was,
I taught through. I taught through the entire pandemic, and I did make certain, because I did help some students out, because not necessarily because of George Floyd. I helped some students out because they had relatives with COVID. I had a student whose mom passed away. Different types of things. And I was like, okay, I understand that experience. I know that it's tough, it's traumatizing, it wasn't expected. And so what did I do? I didn't necessarily grade a paper. I took away assignments. Some of them ended up having to do less work because of what happened. And then I was extremely generous with deadlines because I knew that there was a lot of life happening. People were having all kind of adjustment issues. A lot of the students ended up online. Some of them, they had some housing issues. They had to move into different time zones all over the place. So I was extremely generous with deadlines across the board, right? Students who got COVID ended up doing less work than students who did it because, they had COVID. That ain't easy to deal with.
Virus.
Family members or relatives that had COVID, I made some adjustments in terms of what it is that they had to submit.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Listen, do you? Okay, so my other question is,
I think that's a good excuse. It's excusable.
I think so. Do you think that the perception is fair? The perception that the perception of the professor is a fair perception from others?
That dude got some other stuff going on.
Okay.
And that email just kind of let him tell it.
Okay.
He got some biases.
Mm-hmm.
He probably already think black people get enough special treatment. They don't need no extra. That's what that email sounded like to me. What else we got to give them? You see, remember that's how Shonda Rhimes left ABC, right?
Oh, really?
Netflix, right? So she left ABC for Netflix because she was at Disney with some family members. And, if you work for Disney, they give you free passes to Disney World, right? Mm-hmm. I had a friend who worked for Disney, and she used to get passes, and she took us to Disney World many times. So she needed one additional pass because some other relative came. She calls exactly like, yo, we're here. Can you can you send me another pass? Because I'm trying. And the man told her, don't you get enough? Don't you already? He was like, don't they give you enough already? And she was like, wait, what? It's a $159 pass. And I guess he's saying it's a $159 pass. Just pay for it, right? But mind you, They work for Disney. And that's what he said. He said to her, like, don't you get enough already? And she was like, oh, this is what we doing? And she left ABC and all her hit shows, went to Netflix and gave us Bridgerton. I know Netflix, ABC's feelings are hurt.
Because that Bridgerton could have been on NBC, honey, and people would have been like, oh.
On ABC, they lost. I mean, she's the one who did Scandal, Grey's Anatomy, all of those shows.
Mm-hmm. How to Get Away with Murder
for them. And just because this man out here, like, don't you get enough? Because he didn't want to give her a Disney pass.
Does he still have a job?
No, he might. I know she ain't with him no more. She with Netflix now. Because they already. So that professor, the tone of that email was like, they get enough already.
I would have to agree with you. I would have to agree with you. So listen, the two Americas.
What's happening now?
The Caucacity corner. So let's dive in, because this story right here is just like I'm just so. Let me not get upset about it. Let me just talk about it. All right. So white supremacist poses as a Black Lives Matter supporter, and he shoots up a police station during the George Floyd protests. Okay. He comes from a group called the Boohoo Boys. It's some sort of white supremacist group. The gentleman's name is Ivan Hunter from Texas. Okay. He shot 13 rounds from an assault rifle into Minneapolis's 3rd precinct on May 28, 2020, during a Black Lives Matter protest for George Floyd's murder. Hunter pleaded guilty. I need y'all to hear this when I say it.
What did it? You say he shot something up?
He shot 13 rounds into the Minneapolis police 3rd precinct.
Let's see what happened. What happened to him?
He pleaded guilty, and I want y'all to listen.
To what?
He pleaded guilty. And I said that. Where was he from? When I read it earlier, he was from where?
Where was he from?
He's from Texas. He's not from Minneapolis. All right. So he drove or flew or what the hell ever he did to Minneapolis. I just want y'all to understand. I'm just giving you background context. So he pleaded guilty to 1.
Not 13?
Not 2, not 4, not 5. 1 count. Guess what he pleaded guilty to 1 count of?
Like unlawful display of a firearm or something?
Rioting.
Rioting?
1 count charge. He pleaded guilty to 1 charge of rioting. 1. Not that he had a weapon and he shot it into the police station. Not that he went over crossed over state lines.
But you could do that. We have the right to travel in the United States. So he could leave Texas and come to Minnesota. Ma'am. With a weapon, ma'am. Yeah, you could do that in your car. I don't know if you can travel with a weapon if it's in your check bags or something.
I know you need to be the voice of reason, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
1 count
of rioting.
1.
What
not that he had a weapon, not that he had the weapon and he fired it into a police.
You know what? Maybe the punishment is sufficient. So what was the punishment for this 1 count of rioting?
Ma'am, it's a federal offense. He can get up to 5 years in prison. You know what they offered this man?
What they offer him?
They offered him 24 to 37 months.
Federal prison? Okay, that's 2 to 3 years.
You shot up a police station. If that was a black man shooting a police station, he would have got 5 years.
Y'all be thinking black people do stuff like that.
I don't think black people do stuff like that. I'm talking about the context here. Would the black man get 5 years in prison?
No, because he would have had 13 counts of rioting. Every bullet would have been a riot.
Okay. So. 1 count of rioting. Yeah. 1. You don't shot into a whole police station, 13 rounds, and you get 1 count of rioting. That's what we doing?
Oh no.
Okay. His friends, he got friends now. Hold on.
They came with him.
He got friends. His friends, Michael Solomon and Benjamin Teeter, who both pleaded guilty to federal terrorism charges. They all grouped up on Facebook to talk about what they were going to do. That's what ended up getting them caught.
But he didn't get a terrorism charge? Well, he was just listening. He didn't say nothing.
No. He just got one count on rioting. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What did the friends get for their terrorism, their domestic terrorism?
They just pleaded guilty to that. They haven't given them any jail time.
I'm gonna do a little bit of a lesson right now. So
Sure.
when you get
it didn't say what the time frame.
When it gets down to like one charge. So in the federal system, when they decide how much time you're gonna get, they do these things that's called pre-sentencing investigation, and they have ranges. So they do this pre-sentence investigation. They ask about like your family, where you work, where you went to school, did you cooperate, all of these things, and you get points for everything. You get points for the degrees, you get points for the jobs, you get points for cooperating, you get points for like not making them take you to trial, you get points for providing information. So you get points for all that, and then you get points for all your bad behavior. And so they got this little formula, they get a number, and then you get a range, right? So that 24 to 37 months, that's basically where it ranges. That means they also take into consideration if you have any priors and all of these different types of things. So based on that, that's how they ended up with that range. So it could be his friends could probably end up with more time if they have prior, history. So that's how they do sentencing in the federal system. Because they take, the states do it now too, but yeah, starting with the federal system. So they take into consideration, what kind of things you're doing, who you are, and everything like that. If you went to school, if you keep a job, if you got family, and when they decide how much time you're going to serve.
Well, he's 24, so I don't know how much he could have done, how many points he could have gotten. But the man got one single count of rioting.
Yeah, that's why they didn't want to go to trial on all 13.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was 37 to 46 months. My bad.
Oh, well, that's if he was looking at 5 years, then he has some priors too. if we went all the way up to 47 months out of 60, yeah, he has some stuff going on.
Listen, he was using his social media.
But the judge can so when you're going sentencing, that's the range. The judge can find an aggravating factor and go above the guidelines. The judge does not have to sentence him because those are just guidelines. So they can do a downward departure and go below, or they can do aggravating circumstances and go above the guidelines. So the judge does not have to sentence him to 47 months. That's top of the guidelines, but they can go above it.
So he was also apparently Hunter was also communicating with Stephen Carrillo, a California man charged with killing a federal officer.
Oh, dang.
And a sheriff deputy. This who he dealing with.
That's who he dealing with.
He got one count.
Well, so he probably helped them get some information on Steve Carrillo. He probably turned over them text messages.
Oh, okay.
And helped them with that prosecution. In exchange for that assistance, they dropped them on the 13 charges. He probably did something with that. He probably helped them with Steve Carrillo.
Okay, well, doesn't matter to me.
That's another way you get like less time in the federal system.
Whatever.
Give them a bigger fish.
Okay. I'm just saying that's what we doing around here.
That's what they doing around there. I mean, people mad that those insurrectionists are going to jail still.
They're mad that these insurrectionists are going to jail still, but they're not upset that
they actually were insurrected. They stormed the Capitol.
They're going to jail, but they're not angry that they stormed the Capitol and they just disfigured that area. So they okay with that.
He doo-doo, stole laptops.
Okay.
Had people all scared.
Okay.
Got people killed.
I guess.
Some folks were planting bombs. Damn, that part don't matter. But okay.
No, that doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter at all. Hey, how about an Oregon man?
Mm-hmm.
This is the Caucacity. The level of Caucacity that's going on is just beyond me. So this story is a Emmett Till-esque.
Yeah, it gives you Emmett Till vibes.
It gives you the Emmett Till vibes. Like it's just too Emmett Till for me. But I digress. Let me go ahead and Oregon man charged in killing of Barry Washington Jr. Barry Washington Jr. is a young black man. He was, I think he was 22. Okay, he was just a baby. He was fatally shot September 19th in downtown Bend, where 90% of the population is white. It's important that I say that. Okay. The 22-year-old Washington was at a nightclub where the accused, Ian McKenzie Cranston, 27, shot and killed him. Why do you ask that he shot and killed?
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué?
You know why?
Tell me why.
Because Barry decided to say to Cranston's girlfriend that she looked good. He complimented her. And to give you a little backstory on the article did say, according to the police, that there was some shouting going on initially when he made the compliment to the girlfriend. Ian decided that he was gone. They were tussling a little bit, like, you know, punches were thrown apparently. And when the fighting stopped, it became a shouting match. And when it became a shouting match, Ian pulled out his gun and shot Barry. The girlfriend in question was videotaping the whole thing and laughing. Yeah. So this 22-year-old black man, by all accounts, who was a very intelligent black man, because a friend of his who lived there, and according to the article again, friend of his said, hey, lived in California. Hey, you live in California. Why don't you come down here? It's a little bit safer here. You can go to school because you're really like a nerd and we want to, you know, stuff like that. And then the guy says that was a lie because now I had my friend come over here thinking it was safe and he dies. Because he said his girl looked good.
I mean, that disrespect though.
How do black people handle disrespect? We go out and just, I mean, how do black people handle disrespect?
Listen, let's not have that conversation because, you know, I grew up in the hood.
I grew up in the hood too, where people
folks get hurt for less.
Yeah, but not killed.
It's real ridiculous. What you mean? People have lost their life getting their shoes stepped on. What you talking about?
Okay.
It's the nonsense.
What hood you was living in, sis? What hood you
I grew up in Miami, 35, Little Haiti, Liberty City, all that. I didn't live in Liberty City, but I grew up in Little Haiti and I went to school at Edison.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm a Brooklyn, New York girl, and you know.
They were shooting people stealing their shoes. What you talking about? Taking the puffer jackets? What you mean?
Well, yes.
They were taking people's shoes and stealing their jackets and folks are losing their lives over.
When I was younger, that got worse. It got worse a little bit towards the 80s. But when I was younger, they weren't really shooting and killing people. They were just taking stuff, okay?
And killing them if they didn't want to give it up.
No, we willingly gave it up. I ain't fighting you over no puffer jacket.
They was fighting over them shoes because they were trying to get them to walk barefoot in the snow. When them Air Jordans first came out, people were losing their life over them shoes.
I remember that.
Okay, you remember that? Okay. People losing their life over them $80 shoes.
I remember that. Okay, so if we saying all of that, then it was okay for Ian to do that.
Ain't nobody said that was okay now.
But what are you saying?
I mean, it was just words. He ain't take nothing from him. All he said was that was just words. I mean, you shouldn't be losing your life because you saying the girl cute. He should be like, thank you. Keep it moving. And he shot him because he knew he couldn't beat him up. That's all that was. He was losing that fight.
I think when they fought, he did beat his ass because he
was losing that fight. He's like,
because his mugshot, his whole face is toe up from the floor.
Yeah, he was losing that fight.
Yeah.
In front of the girlfriend after the dude done called his woman cute. Now the dude done punked him out, beat him up. He started some fight he couldn't handle. Now you got to get all aggressive and bring up that energy. Come on.
Well, so now the police there are trying to they initially arrested him, and then he was let out on bail. But then they added extra charges where they rearrested him, and now the state attorney's office is trying to see if he's going to have to end up charging him with a hate crime.
Absolutely. Yep.
We'll keep posted on that to find out what's going on.
That's where that's gonna go. Because I think if some white dude probably called this girl cute, he ain't try to fight him.
I'm just saying, you know.
But I think it's more to that. Like, you know, I ain't trying to say the girl probably ain't talked to no, you know. They got listen. Some insecurities about something.
Listen, these I was gonna say something. Let me forget it. Some of these women, y'all be okay. I'm just saying.
And she out here laughing. People fighting.
She's laughing while she's videotaping it.
She felt special that they were fighting over her.
Mm-hmm.
No.
She laughing while she laughing while they videotaping it and laughing. And the man done shot that man in cold blood. Okay.
Yeah.
I digress. So listen here.
They're still in District 20. There's a race, y'all.
There's still a race in District 20.
You guys had so many opportunities to see those candidates.
Yeah, you listen.
I don't know what's coming up next. I missed the Palm Beach one on Monday. Sorry, folks. I missed the Palm Beach.
Yeah, we found out about that late, but we're gonna try to see the video. We're gonna go see if we can find it.
Watch the video.
We're gonna watch it. But we've watched most of the forums. We had 10 out of the 11 Democratic candidates on. We've had the Libertarian candidate on. We reached out.
Thank you, Philippe Neptune, for inviting them.
She sure did. Thank you, Mr. Neptune. We try to reach out to the Republican candidates. One responded asking for a phone number to talk. Sent him the number. He didn't call. So I don't think they were comfortable coming to talk to us.
They should be.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, they probably just realized it's a Democratic county, and they probably don't have a chance. So they was like, "Why waste our time?" So, I guess.
Or maybe they think we don't have a Republican audience. But Broward TV, is it Broward TV that shares our videos all the time? That's what.
Is it Red
Broward? Yeah, Red Broward. They share our video. That's Republican.
Yeah, Red Broward share our videos. The videos that they wanted to boost on what they were talking about. That's what they share videos on, but that's okay. It's cool too. Whatever. I mean, it is what it is. We did have, candidates who had some friction, and we wanted to let them clear the air, so they came on our show and did that. Y'all might want to go see that video, and see that because.
Something else happened too since last week.
Oh, what happened?
There was an endorsement.
Oh, yes, that's right. Sun Sentinel endorsed Omari Hardy.
Yeah.
Took me by surprise a little bit. I was thinking they were probably going to go with some of the elected officials, those who are already elected officials. But hey, Omari, congratulations on your endorsement from the Sun Sentinel. Maybe that, I don't know if that gives you an edge or not. I don't know how that works, but you got endorsed by the Sun Sentinel. So good for you. Claps up in a circle. Congrats. So there was an endorsement there. Apparently those are hard to come by with the Sun Sentinel. They
okay. Yeah, I mean,
they be picky,
Well, I mean, so I was annoyed with the Sun Sentinel last cycle. They got it wrong during the primaries last time.
They did
a whole bunch of mistakes. I'm like, who y'all was talking to? So
they were doing things based off sympathy. They were doing things based off popularity. They were doing. I didn't understand it. But hey, we ain't the Sun Sentinel, child. It's their way. They have it their way. Is it McDonald's or Burger King says I have it my way? Who's it? McDonald's or Burger King? I think it's
Burger King.
Burger King? Okay. They were having it their way. So
yeah. So I don't,
it is what it is.
Good luck.
Omari Hardy got the Sun Sentinel for the District 20 race. Out of the 11 candidates, they felt that he was the refreshing. What was the article said something about?
I don't remember the words.
The article said that he.
Because Sun Sentinel be want me to pay to read their stories, so I didn't.
Oh yeah. Well, they got to make a living, girl.
Sorry, Sun Sentinel.
They got to make a living.
I know it's only $1, but that's what all y'all want. And then
okay, they got to make a living.
News should be for free.
I don't know. I don't know about the other places like in Palm Beach if they have their own newspaper or whatever. But Mari got that one. I've been hearing Sheila's advertising on the radio. I've heard Perry Thurston's advertisement on the radio.
Sheila's advertising is interesting to me because depending on where you go, the signs are different.
Oh, really?
What's the signs are different?
What's the difference in signs?
So there's some places where there's the prosperity plan ads.
Right.
Some neighborhoods there's no mention.
Oh.
Because I live out west. I do a lot of stuff out east. The
Yeah.
signs are different. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Maybe she has a sign for.
Well, I'm not a campaign manager. All that kind
well,
of
maybe
stuff.
the signs are different. Maybe the signs are different east because the prosperity plan would be more attractive to the people in the east, and then people out west may not need the prosperity plan as much as the people out in the east. Maybe that's what.
So you think the people out east makes $75,000 a year? Because it's up to 75,000. That's some people live out west that.
But isn't our prosperity plan 75,000 and under?
Yeah.
So the people out east make.
There's some people out west that don't make 75,000. So they need prosperity plans too.
Oh, so maybe okay. So maybe however it's placed, maybe the assumption is incorrect on why they're placed that way. But I think that for me, because I ran a campaign, so I'm just saying it based off my experience. I think you need to be consistent, and there needs to be consistency across the board. I wouldn't.
But I'm not a strategist, so I don't want to say because
I think consistency is important. I think constituents. I mean, your constituents. Wouldn't you want the person that you're thinking about voting to be consistent?
I mean, I don't want to. I don't know if consistency is the word, but if you have a plan that's going to be beneficial to Americans, we should all know about it. It should be at least one side out here that talks about the prosperity plan, because there's some people here. We have multi-generational homes that people live in out west. Somebody in that house needs to know about their prosperity plan.
Well, but is the prosperity plan
for her?
Is the prosperity? Oh, that's another thing. I probably have to look it up because I think I read it, but I'm not quite sure. But is the prosperity plan per person or per household?
I don't think it's per household.
Okay. Well, I agree with you then. I think that everybody should know about it. Well, I think that's what consistency means, that you're consistent throughout. Your message is consistent. There's no difference wherever you go, it's the same message. There's no difference. So I think consistency is key. I think that constituents appreciate someone who's consistent, doesn't waver, doesn't change, and because it shows that your attention and your focus is on what you're talking about, and it doesn't change at all. After interviewing most of these candidates, I have to say a lot of them started off one way, and then they evolved over time and started.
I mean, evolve is okay if it's really an evolution. Now, if it's a shift,
perfect word, shift.
It's like a shift.
Evolve is not the right word. So I feel like they shifted.
I don't know. Evolution is
no.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna take evolution back. I'm gonna use your word shift. I think that's a better fit. And throughout the forums, I've seen a lot of shifting going on. So, and that's concerning for me as a constituent, because I have an issue when you were adamant about one thing and then you shift to something else, and then now you're more amenable to changing. I'm okay with amenable to changing, but if this is your platform and this is what you came out the gate with and this is what you're doing, you can't start shifting because you're trying to gain momentum somewhere else. I don't know.
Especially, I mean, I guess the shift.
I feel like that's disingenuous. That is disingenuous.
Yeah,
that's disingenuous.
And I guess I'm an attorney too, so I understand that we don't have to. Omission is not lying in the law. And that's all. And then I also have a business degree, so I understand marketing too. But Lord, some of this stuff is misleading.
A lot of it is misleading.
I mean, the 98 people that supports it, but you need like over 200. So what? You got 98. If I'm a penny short, I ain't no millionaire. You know what I'm saying? So
that's true.
Because 98 sounds a lot. Particularly if it's people who don't know how many people are in the House of Representatives.
Exactly.
And I'm here to tell you that the professor part of me is a whole bunch of folks that don't know how many people are in the House of Representatives. So 98 sounds like a lot if you don't know it's 435 of them over there. And then that 98, that's another one of those ads that are in certain communities.
And if you really want to go with the 98 people, there's about, because the Democrats take the majority, so that's 200 and.
So it was like 200 and something. I think it's probably like 216, 17 of them or something like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So 98 is still not a lot.
That ain't even half.
Not even half. So while 98 is a good momentum, right? To get to the two something. While 98 is a good momentum, is a good start, but it's not the 2 something.
No, but sometimes you have a number and that's it. That's all you're gonna get.
And
so 98, you know, I don't know. Sometimes that's the start, but that could also be the end.
Well, here's the thing. The prosperity plan that Sheila is promoting is not that new. You know, when Andrew Yang was running, he was running.
Martin Luther King used to talk about it. Maybe I missed it. Maybe that's
not. No. Her advertisement on the radio has Martin Luther King in the background.
Okay.
That says that. So it's not a new concept. You know, it's not something that was just thought of. And you know, Andrew Yang ran on that, giving, you know, everybody, all Americans $1,000. You know, so it's not something new. Is the way the information is coming out there. It's like, you know, her plan and somebody else took the plan, and then they're trying to come and like make it theirs. And you know, honestly, I don't know if the I'm pretty sure the government can probably work it out and they can get it somewhere, but I don't know if it's real.
Get that somewhere? Yo, they don't want to build roads. It's like bridges are collapsing. Okay.
So question.
Bridges are collapsing. You think they're about to send somebody $1,000 a month?
Okay, let's
build roads.
And let's stay on that for a minute.
Republican states need to.
Let's stay on that for a minute.
There are bridges in Louisiana that should have been replaced 50 years ago.
Okay, so let's stay on that for a minute. So if what you're saying, which is true, then why keep toting that as a campaign promise somewhat? Like, why keep bringing that up when you know that they, according to her, she's been up in Washington for over 10 years. Advocating and lobbying and all that. So she kind of knows the inner workings of how it works.
You know, advocating at her own expense, remember.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because she said she did it on her own dime, which is good. Okay. So with all of that and having that knowledge, you know, that 10 plus years or however time she was there, 12 years, 10 plus years, I'm not sure. I don't want to misquote, but all that, knowing that and pushing this prosperity plan, she has to know that if they're not even building roads and they're giving us a hard time for an infrastructure bill, how are we going to get them to do this?
She has a relationship, so she's going to go there and she's going to convince the other 130 people that she need to do it.
Listen, everything is a possibility.
Take her word for it.
Everything's a possibility. Everything's a possibility. You know, everything is a possibility, and
yes,
you know.
So we get in the comment. They say, "Oh, y'all beating up on her again?" She gonna go. All right, no problem, Israel. We're almost done anyway.
By the way, Sandra's the one that brought it up, not me. So.
Oh, okay. I did, because I know, because I did bring it up because
totally
I'm curious. I'm curious about the, you know, one ad in one neighborhood,
I'm in total agreement with you. I'm in total.
Because I think I'll be, you know, maybe I won't be, but I don't know.
I
want basic income too.
I'm in total agreement with you. I think that you need to be consistent.
So Seashore Rose says she can get it done. She can. She could convince 130 other people to side with her. And then hopefully we'll get some senators elected that'll let it pass in the Senate. We never thought that would happen, and it did, and they gave it to us. Shut us up. So Narnik and I actually had a conversation today about this Juneteenth stuff, right?
We did.
When they gave us Juneteenth, that ain't what we was asking for though. We was like, y'all need to do something about these police officers killing people. And there's like,
they decided to give us Juneteenth.
They gave y'all Juneteenth, and then they gave y'all the Black National Anthem at the NFL. That was I was like,
that's exactly right.
Remember, that ain't what we was asking for.
He said have Juneteenth and didn't give us a civil rights bill. That's right. That's right.
You know, we was asking for, we was asking for like George Floyd.
We was asking for. We was asking for the civil rights bill. We was asking for the reform bill. We was asking for,
universal basic income. But we got Juneteenth. We got Juneteenth. Y'all got Juneteenth and the Black National Anthem being sung at the NFL games.
That's what you got.
That's what you got.
I listen. I'm all for.
I think folks might take that $1,000. You might get some people to like fall in line for $1,000 a month.
I agree. Oh yeah, I totally agree.
Because it might reduce some of that crime. People might not have to be,
ma'am,
riding their bicycles in the wrong direction and coming into contact with the police.
Hey, let me tell you something. That $1,000 got to feed.
They won't be buying loose cigarettes. They won't have to buy loose cigarettes because if you're getting $1,000 a month, you might be able to buy a whole carton or a case, and you ain't got to go buy a loose cigarette and then run the risk of getting beat up by the police because somebody sold you or people selling loose cigarettes.
Whatever. All I know is
$1,000 a month might solve some of those little petty crimes that get people in trouble. I had a client who used to buy his all his weed on Friday for the weekend.
that weekend weed, that weekend money.
All the weed, so he didn't have to go in and out of the. So if they give $1,000 a month, they might just have to go once, get their supply, and they ain't gotta
get your weed once a month.
It's gonna reduce, that might reduce some of these petty offenses.
Listen,
just get your supply all at once.
All I have to say, I think anything is possible, and if she is bestowed the powers of the District 20, and she gonna run with it, I suggest if she's bestowed with that power that she does focus and try to get that. Because if you acting like that's what you were saying and that's not what you're doing, sis, you still got 8 months. And somebody gonna come and what's that thing that my husband always says? Somebody gonna come and snatch your there's a Jamaican saying that he says. I keep forgetting what it was. Somebody gonna eat your food. Yeah, somebody gonna eat your food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody gonna come eat your food. So
because those folks, they're gonna be running the whole. They're gonna be running because.
Oh, we had that conversation. You said that one of the things you said, like whoever gets the seat, kind of guaranteed the next time or whatever.
I didn't say guarantee. I think they have I think they have the best chance of winning again. If you win now, you can win again in August.
Right. I disagree because so many of them were running. I don't think your seat is safe in 8 months. That's just me.
She said she need her government job and even with an additional $1,000 a month. All right, I'm gonna call you later. Yeah, it's a lot happening, and we, so we talked about. So we're gonna wrap up talking about the Democratic Party because another thing Andrew Yang did, since we were talking about universal basic income, he's an independent now.
So he was like, he's told the Democratic Party's deuces goodbye.
I'm done with y'all and nonsense. Listen,
I'm not saying for those who are Democrats to do something drastic like that. I'm not saying that. I think that we should at least hold people's feet to the fire and try to keep people accountable. However, I ain't mad at them.
We need to keep them accountable.
Keep them accountable.
But I want to. They're gonna get your vote no matter what they do.
Yeah.
No
I have to say, Mr. Yang, I ain't mad at you.
I understand. I don't know if I'm gonna do that, but I understand.
I understand, and I'm not mad at you. I completely understand where you're coming from because I'm telling you, as a black person, a black woman, the Democratic Party hasn't been nice.
And in the last couple of weeks, as a Haitian,
Haitian descendant, yeah,
that was like a woo. That was like a slap in the face.
Listen,
they woke up with violence that day.
Our conversation got so heated, we're not even gonna tell you what we said.
Yeah,
that's how upset we was.
Yeah, they woke up with violence that day.
We still upset about that.
Oh, and we were gonna talk about that meeting we were in, but that right there, that's for another day, huh?
We'll say, we'll say
we probably need to have we're gonna have a whole session on just Haiti.
Yeah, let's have a whole session on Haiti because
we need to have a whole session on Haiti because that meeting was disturbing.
I think what we can wet the palate by saying we were in a White House briefing
on
about
Haiti
policy. No one looked like us.
I understand the problem, and I understand why there's been no solutions on anything related to Haiti. I understand why there's no solutions.
No one spoke Creole on that bad boy that was on that panel.
And even if they did, they were proud that they were able to get documents. In the last in 12 years, they were able to get documents for folks, and that's a success story, according to them.
We will talk about that.
Millions and millions of dollars have been spent, and all they could come and say is that they were able to get folks documents.
Just so you all know, we had one of our representatives online who, in that particular meeting, who stated that they worked with Habitat for Humanities and knows how much it costs to build one home in Haiti.
That will withstand earthquakes and hurricanes.
The cost for a home like that to be built in Haiti is $7,000.
That's all.
So I just want to reiterate, after the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, there was billions of dollars that were raised.
A lot of money.
Only 6 homes were built.
People still living in tents 11 years later.
So just put that into perspective, okay? So questions were asked by
no answers were given
from elected officials. No answers were given. The same answer was given that, oh, we'll take your information and take it back and get you your answer.
They were told that last month.
For the second and third time. Those who are in charge basically gave a summary of stuff we already know. And nothing was done. So White House briefing, all you want to know. That's
White House. From the executive office of the president.
Okay. That's where we at. All right. And the level of this meeting was so disrespectful. But we can tell you next week. I mean, just the email by itself was I was like, huh? What? There's the thing that we say in Creole. Bêtise. We'll tell you next time.
That was. Yeah.
What bum chocolate? What bum caca? What bum chocolate? Yeah. That's what's going on. Had to say it in Creole because the effect is better that way. Okay. No bêtise, jak passe moun.
Bêtise.
So we could talk about it next week. I think, co-host, I think you need to think of a scenario that people can relate to when we do talk about what that was. Think of a scenario that Cuban people would be like, oh, hell no.
Everybody would be like, hell no. That was such a nothing, like, please.
I'm just saying.
No, and to me, I was offended because I was like, they must think we all stupid. For you to have a whole meeting in the middle of the day and have people come listen to that, you could have sent me an email, bro.
We were texting back and forth, and we were texting the words that they were using. I was like, what? They think we stupid? Like, what using all these big words in different ways and trying to, what's that thing you always use, co-host? What gymnastic?
Mental gymnastics.
Yeah.
They were talking nonsense. I mean, it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And they saying, I'm using all these words saying, I'm like, bro, but you ain't saying nothing. And this is actually an instance where you could give a very specific example of your success.
Tangible stuff. Tangible things that
mean what you did. Y'all out here getting 16 million, 6 million, 15 million. What y'all did? You get documents? Really? I could get documents from Haiti.
They're giving out toiletries and clean water.
I tell you.
You giving out toiletries and clean water, and I ain't got no bathroom to go to. I don't have a house over me. But you're giving me water and you giving me out water and toiletries.
So you can go in the bushes, fertilize that land, make some compost.
Okay, whatever. I'm just saying, that was a joke and so offensive that the Biden and Harris administration is continuously losing me as someone who was supportive of them in the beginning. That's where I'm at with them. So anyway, guys, to wrap up, don't forget that Florida has millions of dollars for rental assistance. Okay. The Department of Children and Families is who is over this program. The program is www.ourflorida.com. This is available for landlords and renters alike. You can get up to 12 months of rental assistance. I really suggest that you, if you're in that position, please visit that website and apply. The money's sitting there. And just so you know, DeSatan let $2.3 billion expire for children education in Florida. Just so you know. Just so you know. So much so that the White House says, you're not going to take this money? Why you let this expire? You're not going to take this money? His response was, well, they didn't use up the money they have. You hear that? His response was they didn't use the money they have, but yet still,
what money they have? They're like schools with the roofs falling in the library.
They didn't use the money. They didn't use the money they have, but that's the money you taking away from those districts that decided to do mass mandates, though. That's what you're talking about. That's what you're saying. DeSatan. That's what you're saying.
There's some construction stuff that I heard like ain't got enough money to finish.
All I'm saying is
they got roofs in the library falling in. There's some schools with moles in the carpet.
The federal government says, where is the money? Okay, where's the money? They said, why you ain't take the money? You return and say, well, they ain't spend the money they have, but you deducted money from them that the federal government had to end up paying us back. Broward County got $420,000 that you took away. You took away. And now you're saying that they didn't spend the money they have? Dude, what are you doing? So he let $2.3 billion expire where he didn't even take the money. But yet still we have schools that are dilapidated, that need to be, the construction needs to be going on. That we have mold. Okay, we need services to provide to students. Teachers ain't getting paid jack diddly. Okay, but you ain't take that money. So you gonna justify that to Satan? Huh? That's what we're doing.
So Mr. Neptune said we need to rethink this two-party system. I agree.
Totally agree. Two-party system is trash.
I agree.
I totally agree.
Especially when you can't tell the difference no more.
Right? You know, I have a 16-year-old. You know what my 16-year-old told me? My 16-year-old told me that the Democratic Party is just a party that is red but has a color blue. She says something to the effect like, what did she say? She says, the Democratic Party is like, let's take away the Republican Party says, let's take away Obamacare. And she says, Democratic Party, let's take away Obamacare. That's what she says. She's like, they're the same. She's like, they're two sides of the same coin. This is a 16-year-old. Okay? She was the one that broke down leftists and the left and the right. I was like, I don't know nothing about that. I was, she's like, okay, Mom, I'm gonna explain to. I really didn't know about the left and the right thing or whatever. But she says, Mom, is that they're both the same. It's just you got one who's one extreme and one on the other extreme. I'm just saying this two-party system is trash. That's all I'm saying. Trash.
On that note, how are we ending this? How are we ending this? I know how I want to end. I know what my final word is.
What's your final word?
Ala Duff needs someone to run against her. Oh. She should not be running unopposed.
Is she running unopposed though?
Well, I want to know who running against her. And I need to talk to that person and I'm a canvas for them. Who running against her?
Listen, she's in my district, so I've gotten calls that people want me to run against her. But see, I think the problem with, not for me, because that's never a problem for me. But and we both agree that no one should be running unopposed. Period. I think the problem with her is people don't want to run against her.
I don't want to talk about her. I want to know who's going to run against her. That's who I need to. I need to identify that person and start providing support. That's what I'm talking about.
What's your problem with her though? What's the issue?
She she's stuck, which I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to go grieve and handle her emotional situation
Agreed.
on her own terms and not the expense of the children in the Broward County school system. Because this is a job where you're there to represent the needs of all children,
Agreed.
not for you to get payback, right? Not for you to mourn. That's not what this is for. And I understand why she needs to do that, but she needs to go do that somewhere else. Go get your emotional, mental health, all of that together, because it's affecting your ability to do what's right for all of the children in the district.
I think she would do way better lobbying up in Washington.
Not as an elected official.
No, not as an elected official, but as someone who is her passion is safety in school.
It's a particular issue, right? And she needs to just deal with that issue, but not on the school board. It's more than one issue that needs to be addressed, right?
I agree.
But for me, even with the safety and security, I think there's a whole mental health issue that needs to be addressed. I
think that's the thing. I think that needs to be addressed first, is the mental health issue.
So
I think that
I need to run against her. I ain't calling no names. I just need to know who it is so I can stop providing support.
I don't know. I would run against her, but I think I would. I just think that I'm too much. I'm just.
Well, if you don't want to do it, like I said,
not that I don't want to do it.
It's a part of person. I just need to know who's gonna do it.
So I would love to do it.
Providing that support.
I think
you gotta go.
Yeah,
I'm over it. She gotta go.
I was trying to look up to see if anybody was running against her, and I couldn't find it. But I'll find it. So far, nobody's run, and this is for like 2022. So, that
ain't far. 2022 in 4 months, girl. What you talking about? You acting like that's less than a year away. Okay, the primary is August 2022. We are in October. That is 10 months away.
That's why I'm
10 months away.
Yeah, 10 months. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't believe anybody should be running unopposed. I don't.
She definitely don't need to be running unopposed.
I don't think anybody should be running unopposed. I think everybody should have an opponent. Keeps you up on your A game.
She got the superintendent out. She got other people fired. She done her agenda has been met. It's time to go, lady. Go mourn and deal with your situations a different way, not at the expense of the children in Broward County. I'm sorry.
Agreed. I totally agree. I think it's important that that people have that children have representation that's going to be representing them as a whole, not
one issue.
Yeah, the one issue is a problem.
Too much going on, man.
The one issue is a problem. You got to be able to be versatile and what you call it. You can't be just all about one thing and one thing only. It doesn't work like that.
Nope. Too much going on. Too much at stake.
There's too many. And by the way, as right now with this, I think they had a meeting today. They were talking about going back to wearing masks or whatever and stuff like that. That's a problem. That's the issue. Yeah, you know what? She's filing. Nobody's running against her. She's running unopposed. Her and Nora Rubert, both of them running unopposed. Both of them running unopposed. Ain't that something?
Ridiculous? The election the primaries are 10 months away. That's ridiculous.
She's running unopposed.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I guess I have some thinking to do, child.
You and
whoever else.
What district is Nora Rupert in?
She's in District 7.
Is that Hollywood?
Some parts of it. 7 and 4 are running unopposed. 8 has 2 candidates on there. 8 is Donna Corn.
That's the at-large. Isn't that the at-large seat? That's the other. Yeah, because Adderley's running against her, right?
Yeah, Adderley. No, but she hasn't filed, so I don't think she's running.
No, Adderley's the young boy. Who's he running against?
He's running against somebody by the name of Escobar. But the current person who's sitting on the seat.
Isn't gonna run?
I don't know. Okay. She hasn't filed yet.
Okay.
I think there's a deadline to file.
Y'all need to hurry up. It's 10 months away, people.
Yeah. So she shouldn't run unopposed.
None of them should.
Not one. So if you're out there, if you live in District 4, I think that's Coral Springs, Parkland, Margate, I think parts of Tamarack. What's the other city? There's another city. Those areas. That's those areas. And trust and believe, some people in those areas are not too happy with their representation. Just so you know. So you know there's a lot of grievances. So you can go on in and see if you could help those people out, because you can't have a one-track mind when you're representing a diverse population.
And your vote affects the entire county. We're worried about the children in the county.
Yeah. Kids out east. Mm-hmm. And we have a board member, the only African-American board member. She's resigned to run. She's running for senator.
State Senate.
State senator. Oh, yeah, state senate. Yes, state senate. Mm-hmm. Sorry, state senate.
This state senate, District 33.
Yes, District 30. She's running for Thurston's old seat.
Yeah.
Oh, well, soon to be old seat in January. Come January,
it's done.
Oh, but the thing is, her seat is open, and now the governor gets to appoint someone.
In January, though, not now.
Yeah.
So there's work that can be done until in the next 2 months.
Yeah, I think they're working on things or whatever. But just know, listen, representation matter. And, Broward County is a very diverse county. And, we have to have people who look like us representing us. We have to be at the table. Because as you know, culturally, people don't understand unless you've had that experience. And that is something that you can add when you're at the table making decisions. So
my brother's
so there was her final thought. My final thought is, listen, if you haven't gotten vaccinated, I implore you to do so. Okay. There was a story that came out with a 10-year-old who died of COVID. The child did not have any pre-existing conditions. She caught COVID on a Monday. I think within a week she died. And it was hard for me to look at that and not feel something as a parent. So, and these children are not eligible to get the shots because they're too young. So, I implore you to please really, really, really consider getting vaccinated.
If not, at least wear your mask.
If not, at least wear your mask. And please social distance, because, we want those kids to go back to school. We want them to be there, but we also want them to be safe, right? And so when people start relegating these children's death with percentages, it really infuriates me. One child is one too many, okay? So I implore you to do that. I implore you to wear your mask. I implore you to follow the rules and mandates that that are currently in stake. And then if your person who's representing you, like the governor who's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, it's okay to do the right thing. Just because he's not doing the right thing doesn't mean you shouldn't do the right thing, is my thing. All right. Register to vote. I just saw something the other day about Republicans having more people. We only in Florida, in the state of Florida, all of Florida, we are losing ground. We're up by only 25,000. Those who haven't registered to vote, please register to vote. Consider the Democratic Party. And if that's not something you're interested in, or the two-party system, you still can be registered as an independent. I don't advocate that, but register to vote, period.
Vote blue.
There you go. So vote blue in 2022.
Down ballot. We're focused on down ballot. Yeah, 22 is all down ballot. So yep, vote blue, down ballot.
Vote blue, down ballot. Okay. Val Demings is running against Marco Rubio. Nikki Fried and Charlie Crist is running against DeSantis. And so give those people a look, a holler.
They need to come up. They need to work together.
I know exactly.
They need to work together, and they need to get their teams together.
Yeah, I think the multiple people thing is not a good idea.
Yeah, we don't need to be splitting them votes up. No, they need to get it together, work together, and assure a victory.
When is the last?
Well, so I'm assure a defeat. That's the best way to say it.
Yes,
assure a defeat.
Assure a defeat. When was the last time we had a Florida female governor? Since what's her face?
So what?
When was the last time we had a Florida female governor? It was
Janet Reno.
Janet Reno, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to see a female, but I'll take anything other than DeSantis.
She was the governor of Florida, right? Generino was, right?
She was.
Am I making this up?
No, she was the governor.
Okay, because she ran for something, then she passed out, and we was like, she gonna lose. You remember that when she fell during that campaign? I'm like, yo,
was it then that she was diagnosed with Parkinson's or no?
I don't know what it was, but I was like, girl, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a wrap.
Right. So listen, look out for those people. We need a change in Florida. Obviously, you can see that this state being red is not a good thing. Was she the attorney general, not the governor?
She's the attorney general. Yeah.
Oh,
she was running for governor, and then she
didn't. Oh, that's what it was.
Passed out, and then it was like
for governor. Yes,
she was running for governor, and then she passed out during that campaign thing, and it was like, sis.
Okay, so we haven't had a female governor in how long? Oh, did we ever have a female governor?
I don't think we did. The thing is that we didn't have a Democratic governor since Lawton Childs.
Yeah, Lawton Childs. That was a while ago.
That was like 19. He died in 98.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then Buddy, whatever his lieutenant governor became governor for the rest of his term.
Yeah.
But yeah, Janarino was running for governor.
She was.
And she passed out.
And the reason why I keep thinking that she was is because of that Elian Gonzalez thing.
Yeah, she was the AG when she did that. She was the attorney general under Clinton when she did that.
That's what threw me off. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So we'll see you all next week. Hopefully we'll be on time, but we're parents and we work and Sandra works. And we have
you work too. You just work different.
Yeah, thank you, Sandra. I do. I work different. So we will try to be on time next time. Yes. But we're normally good with that. It's just life happens.
Today was one of them days.
Wasn't it though?
Yeah, it was one of them days. People was messing with my energy, trying to disrupt my chi.
Okay.
Lord. Yes.
But we made it.
I meditated today. Okay, so
we made it, and listen, it's not like we lost our minds when WhatsApp and IG and Facebook went down.
That was a whole set about Facebook because the government is gonna try to bother Facebook. Facebook is like, I'm gonna bring the people after you, right? Because them people was like fiending. They was like for 6 hours couldn't get on Facebook.
But let me tell you something.
That was a whole set about Facebook.
To me, that's dangerous.
That was deliberate. For that. I think that was deliberate. So the government can take the heat up them because the people are gonna be like, no, I need my Facebook, I need my Instagram.
I didn't like it. It was. Not that I didn't like that it was down because I didn't care. People. I know people were making fun of people who said they didn't care or they didn't know. I knew it was down, but I didn't care. But I was really kind of like sad that there was the WhatsApp was the main thing because I think people use WhatsApp in other countries and that's their way to communicate.
Yeah.
So that's not that I'm not talking about WhatsApp, but that IG and that Facebook, y'all gonna have to.
Yes, and I was talking to my students about it today, and I was saying like, oh, I know all the birthday people was mad, boys. Everybody whose birthday was on Monday, they couldn't post, and they didn't get the 150 happy birthday from their friends, and because people think like folks really remember their birthday, like. Anybody remember your birthday? Facebook.
Not until I get that notification. Not until I get that notification. Hope you remember.
So those folks who didn't get that personal text, they're like, these people really don't know it's my birthday. So
Facebook, you was wrong for that.
I'm not laughing at y'all pain. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm really not laughing at your pain.
I'm laughing at it because that's ridiculous. Zuckerberg. You a whole clown for doing
that. He did that on purpose because I'm telling you, because the government was coming for him, and he said, "I'm gonna make the people come for y'all because them people need that."
He had his whistleblower in front of Congress. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday?
Yesterday, she started talking yesterday. I need to go watch that. I'm gonna go watch that.
I'm gonna go watch it. You a whole clown for that, Zuckerberg. But
he's like, the government want to come for me. I'm gonna send the people after the government. Let y'all go try to dismantle Facebook and IG. All y'all gonna lose your elections.
Damn near crippled the Facebook people. Okay, people damn near lost their mind.
Some people's like, they not gonna let me be great today. It's my birthday. Okay.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go. We way over time. All right.
Yes.
So we're gonna go. We're gonna see y'all next week. We're gonna try to see if we can start cutting down our show a little bit because we realize y'all don't watch everything. We realize y'all don't watch it.
Some people do.
Okay. If you do, that's great. If you don't, we're trying to keep you. We're trying to keep you. What they call it, engaged. Okay.
We stay engaged. Our conversations are great.
That's because we having fun. But listen, y'all can join the party anytime you want to.
We're gonna start dropping the link too.
Jump in. We're gonna give you the thing to jump on in. We ain't got no problems with that.
Yeah, we're gonna start dropping the link in the chat.
Gonna start dropping the link. You want to hop in, hop on, and we good. Okay.
All right.
So until next time, like, share, and subscribe. Oh, by the way, co-host, I put our new commercial on today.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Your brother is the bomb.com
all day. He's watching.
He's the bomb.com, and I had to download it. There was one that was transparent, one that was color. I was like, let me do the transparent. The bomb.com. Love him. So I put it on today, download it. It was perfect. But as soon as it came on. And so we're gonna keep doing that. Should we end with it?
Yes, let's end with it.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Let's end with the commercial.
See y'all
next week.
Next week.